All right, I'm Jason Whitlock. That's Marcellus Wiley, that dude.
I'm tight.
All right, welcome to Speak for Yourself, the most fearless show in sports. Coming up, I'll have my Whitlock on the Raptors taking a 2-1 series lead, but we got to call an audible. We're going 5 wide today with Rick Bucher, Kendrick Perkins, and Jim Jackson. Let's get to a big story sponsored by the all-new Kia 2020 Kia Telluride, giving it everything. All right, we begin with a big story from Game 3, where Kyle Lowry got into it with a Warriors fan who shoved him when Lowry chased a loose ball into the stands. After the game, Lowry said the guy should be banned from the NBA forever, but today it turns out the fan is actually Mark Stevens, a part owner of the Warriors. The team said Stevens would not be attending any more games this series, but LeBron James demanded a stronger response, posting on Instagram today, quote, "There's absolutely no place in our beautiful game for that at all. Something needs to be done ASAP, a swift action for his actions. Just think to yourself, what if Kyle Lowry would have reacted and put his hands back on him? You guys would be going crazy, calling for him to be damn near put in jail, let alone being suspended for the rest of the finals, all because he was protecting himself. I've been quiet throughout the whole NBA playoffs, watching every game, haven't missed one, but after I saw what I saw last night, took time to let it manifest into my thinking. I couldn't and wouldn't be quiet on this. Hashtag protect the players. Hashtag privilege ain't welcome here." All right, I'm gonna bite my tongue and let you get us rolling. I'm gonna bite my tongue. Should the NBA take further action against Mark's?
Absolutely. It's a workplace issue. You got to protect your product. You got to protect your players. Let's just be real about that. The lack of awareness to have a courtside seat and not see the fine print of a courtside.
How much further action?
Say it again?
How much further action?
How much further action? I would give him a minimum of a year suspension. I would give him a minimum of, you can watch it in your big flat screen investor owner instead of courtside, where your lack of awareness turned to arrogance, because it's okay to be perturbed that somebody landed on you. 6'8" dude just lands on you, or whatever. Kyle Lowry a little smaller than that. But then to take it to the next level, which is the push, which in any other context is assault. Been there, seen that. And then to take it to the next place, which is you're supposed to be held of a higher standard. You are actually assaulted someone for playing the game of basketball that you're invested in.
Is strong.
Look, take it in any other place.
It's strong.
I'm glad.
Marcellus,
that push was weak.
Right now.
It
was weak. It's not assault.
Yeah. And you know what?
I'm
not going to take. Look, I'm going to pass this ball around, but when I come back, I'm going to give you a story of assault. But you know what? Assault doesn't measure strength. It just measures you invading someone's privacy and personal space.
Yeah, what's hard with this is the fact that he is not just a fan. He's not just some beer-soaked fan and up in the 300 section. He's a guy who's sat in a courtside seat before, and he is part of the Golden State Warriors organization. Now, I've talked to people. I know a number of the part owners, and obviously Joe Lacob and Peter Guber. I don't know Mark. I know people who know Mark who say, great benefactor for Santa Clara University. This is out of character for him. What I really need to know, above and beyond the shove, is what was said, because based on what Kyle Lowry is saying, he was saying some crazy things as well. That determines for me just how severe this has to be. But a 1-year suspension, you can't sit courtside anymore.
Yeah.
Having him sell his part in the team, that's going way too far. But I need to make a statement. If you are going to sit courtside, if you're going to be this close to the players, then there is a certain comportment that is expected. And if you don't follow that, you don't get to sit courtside.
I agree with you totally. With the suspension, I think a fine needs to be levied out as well. I think this has to be swift action, just as if it was a player going into the stands. The NBA reviews it.
Why does it have to be swift? But continue. Why does it have to be swift?
Because I don't want it to taint, for me personally, what's going on with the series itself. Get this out the way so we can move on from this, because the series is competitive, it's compelling. We have a lot of different narratives going on. I don't want this to be one of the narratives, especially if when you come back if you come back to Golden State.
Let me just throw a little more information. The NBA has come down and basically backed up the Golden State Warriors. He will not be attending any more NBA Finals games. I think right now that's for the rest of this season. I don't know if they've taken any further actions. Go.
No, but I'm saying the NBA, they're going to come down, they're going to review it and come down with their own penalty for him. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, hold on. Here's a statement from the NBA. A team representative must be held to the highest possible standards, and the conduct of the Golden State Warriors investor Mark Stevens last night was beyond unacceptable and has no place in our league. As the review of this matter continues, Mr. Stevens will not be permitted to attend NBA games. That's
there it
appropriate. KP.
All right, so now that y'all got the friendly stuff out the way, let's
Get into some gangsters.
Yes, I mean, like, at the end of the day, let's talk about this, man. This is not a zoo. This is basketball. We're not animals. These players are not animals. And we're not going to do this because I'm telling you, Kyle handled it differently than what I would have handled it. Because I'm telling you, for somebody to shove me in the head and I got four kids.
Shoulder.
It don't matter. It's still a shove. As a grown man, I got 4 kids at home that's watching it or maybe at the TV. With me, I'm sure it's going to be some furniture moving. It's going to be some furniture moving and I'm lashing back. I might throw a jab at him. It's going to be fruit punch everywhere. For the simple fact that you're not going to disrespect me as a man. And this is my problem at hand. The NBA, they could fine players for, you get fined $5,000 to $15,000 for throwing your mouthpiece. You get fined $10,000 to $30,000 for criticizing an official. You get fined $500 to up to $5,000 for getting a technical foul. Like, no, we're not doing this. So fine him. Fine him $2 million and ban him for 2 years.
There will be, I'm speculating, there will be some fine. KP, I want to give you a different way, and again, your way of thinking of it is perfectly legitimate and understandable. But I would look at it this way, and I think Kyle Lowry handled it beautifully the way he did. He put more of a clown suit on this man by handling it professionally. He let there only be one idiot in the room. And not that Kyle Lowry, if he had responded, would have been an idiot. But by not taking any action, you really expose what an idiot this guy was. So I applaud Kyle Lowry and hope that others would respond the same. Because, again, this guy disrespected himself. He put a big clown suit on himself, and trust me, he's getting clowned all over the country right now. His peers in the NBA are looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? He's been removed so far this season. They're going to fine him. I like Rick's suggestion of no more, you can't sit courtside anymore. But what I would say, and the reason why I push back against swift justice, we need to take a beat. Let's find out who he is. This is the first time I've ever heard of the guy.
But why?
Because all of that matters.
They don't take a beat when they find us. They act swiftly on us. They don't say, oh, let me find out who Kendrick Perkins was before he said something to Tony Brothers, the referee.
They've already responded. They've already leveled, and they're going to do more. But I'm saying with anybody, we got to remember, man, Charles Barkley spit on a fan and is one of my people I love the most in this business, a friend of mine, somebody I respect. People do really silly things. Steven Jackson, love him. This dude in my hometown pulled out a gun outside a strip club. People do really stupid. I'm not even talking about what went on in the arena, Malice in the Palace. I got friends, one of my greatest loved ones, love him to death, pistol whip a man right in front of his home. Right. I'm not for writing off anybody swiftly. I am for, hey, let's take a beat. We've removed him from the game. Let's figure out who he is, and let's take appropriate action.
Well, I love the outlier examples, but let's just also look at this for what it is. And this is a guy who, if he was responded to with a two-piece from Kyle Lowry, we still would have been able to parse to see who was the culprit, who was the instigator, and who was the real ignorant person in that situation. It wouldn't have been Kyle Lowry. That's one. You have to set a higher standard because you want to set precedents. Malice in the Palace occurred. It can occur again. We always talk on this show, Russell Westbrook and his issues with the fans.
Doesn't have to be decided today is my argument.
Okay, it doesn't have to be decided. Swiftly doesn't give it a necessary time. It just gives it an urgency. I don't know if it had to be today, tomorrow, but an urgency. Here's the issue I really have with it. The NBA just dealt me a card that I'm about to play right now. In this week where two teams have said we have taken away the title of owner, they gave me the card to play, and I'm going to play this race card right here. It's interesting to watch a white owner in the same week the NBA is now taking notice of taking away the term owner, push a black player, and then we're going to watch this and not know that this is going to be a hypersensitive event. Now, when you see it's hyperactive, you have to respond swiftly, and you have to respond with precedent being set. If not, we're going to see the gas meet the fire again, as we're seeing some of the signs which happened years ago in the Mouse and Palace. That's why I say you have to step
And
up.
see, and I'm going to go a little bit further and a little bit deeper, and it goes back to where our country is as a whole, with cops killing black African Americans, at least, yearly or daily, shall I say. And it goes to that. And I would love to be in an ownership meeting when the owners meet up. I would love to hear what they talk about, because this is no different. This is what
KP, I got to stop you because that's a completely different discussion.
No, but I'm not trying to go there. But I'm just saying it's to that we can't have this either though. This is unacceptable.
I get it, but that's not analogous.
But it's just a comparison. It's a comparison.
It's not a fair one.
Why not though?
The problem that I have with not going swiftly.
I'm on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Come on, KP. But me and you both grew up big boys.
Right.
We've pushed and shoved, and we can't compare pushing and shoving to killing. We just can't.
But
Again,
I went.
The man was pushed.
The
man was pushed.
But look,
That's
Jay.
all it was.
But Jay, I wasn't comparing the killing part of it.
I got it.
I'm
but
telling
it's
you
not
where our world is
and this
today.
I get it, but this is what I'm saying is unfair to this man. We don't know nothing about him, and now we want to start off the top of our heads comparing him to cops that have done really inappropriate things. That's a bridge a little bit too far.
The trouble that I have with waiting and not acting swiftly is that we've all talked about the severity of what the punishment should be. If it's any less than that, as a result of looking into it and saying, well, but he's this kind of guy, but this is an exception, then people are going to look at it as more entitlement. Oh, the NBA is doing him a solid because he's a part owner, because he's worth a lot of money, whatever it is. And that sends the message to every other fan, oh, there can be exceptions made. And quite honestly, he's getting his name out there, and it's probably embarrassing for him because of the circles that he runs into. But what troubles me is that we see more and more fans who want the engagement because they want the attention. They don't necessarily look at it as negative.
Well, the only one I can really think of is Drake. That's who wants attention as an NBA fan.
Absolutely.
And has done everything in his power to get attention.
The fans,
so again,
the fans as well.
We're talking about.
We've seen some incidents. I mean,
you don't think the fan that engaged with Russ Westbrook didn't want to be noticed and recognized that I'm going
in the
back
arena?
And forth?
The guy didn't want to be on TV. The guy wanted fans been going to athletic events and heckling athletes and entertainers for decades.
Oh, we take a joke.
Long before.
Oh, we take a joke.
I got it.
We ain't taking a push.
But Jay, this is what I'm telling you. As my thing is, and I agree with them acting swiftly, because I played in this league, and I was fine here.
But let's define swiftly again, because I want them to act justly. Because trust me, if you're ever in a courtroom or somebody in your family's in a courtroom, you don't want swift, you want justice.
But when I just brought up the situation, you just said let's not take it. That we're not talking about a courtroom. We're talking about NBA. We're talking about this situation.
There's no situation that I really want. I want to be judged justly.
But
in
it's
my work environment, everywhere.
But Whitlock, they're not mutually exclusive.
But
we can take a beat. We don't have to.
But
we didn't know who this guy was, and he had the power to keep it that way.
Jay, all I'm saying is,
he had the power to keep it.
And Jim, you could be when the league is ready to find you, they don't call and say, let me find out to get a background check and see.
Because they already know you, man.
No, they don't.
But they already know. They don't
know the real me.
Here's the thing. They already know the ownership, too. The mindset, to me, is what's important. Why he did it. What was going through his mind. What gave him the thought process to do it anyway. Even the thing about it, Kyle Lowry didn't even fall on him. He fell next to him.
So, but why do we need to know what his mindset or his intention is? What do you need to know?
Play defense attorney
that
to
you
your
don't
own
already know
argument.
about this situation?
Play defense attorney to your own argument.
Mostly what I want to know is just like, I would just like to know him a little bit better before we just demonize the guy because he pushed
I'm not going to
someone.
demonize him.
No. Yes, we are.
I'm not going to demonize. I just want him to be fine. I want the appropriate punishment to come down, and we move on.
You lose a luxury of courtside seats.
I don't want to demonize you.
Which is take away your privilege, Mr. Entitled.
And there's more chance of that.
Demonizing.
And I don't want to get to know him.
Marcellus.
Yes, sir.
Marcellus, I'm going to tell you why. Because again, we know nothing about the man.
Oh, I know one thing.
You started the path of there was a racial component here, the ownership deal, and the race card has been.
I said that's the complexion it could take.
And so that's part of it. Kendrick has somehow compared him to the police. That's a part. We've gone too far. This just may be a dude that just did something really stupid, needs to be punished for it.
Okay.
But nothing. I don't know anything about him. I don't want to go down.
Do you have an appropriate punishment?
In my view, again, he wouldn't be around the rest of this year. I wouldn't allow him to sit courtside anymore, and I'd slap him with $1 million, $2 million fine, and I'd be done with it.
So put him in the 200 section, put him up top, and
he's gonna sit in a suite somewhere.
Put him in a suite, and he's good.
Yeah. Again, he's lost. Again, I've seen Drake. To me, is I wouldn't say the cat because what this guy did is stupid. But the whole courtside deal with the NBA is now all of an attention grab. People are dressing up. People they got their biggest gold chain.
It's more than that.
It's
more than that, though. Now they're interacting.
The 80s.
Yes.
Now they're interacting with the players, and now
cameras are on them all the time. The TV networks are playing into it.
Right.
So, and they're all part
so that's
of
a
the
pass?
stage.
Is that a pass for
that
this
a pass?
individual? Is that a pause for this individual?
No. I've already said he can't come to any more games. He can't sit courtside anymore. I'd fine him $1 million or $2 million and move on.
But I don't want him in an arena. I don't want to see this guy at the concessions.
And if
Why? What's he gonna do to you?
Look,
because
it's a privilege that gets taken away, and it's okay. You don't live
But
life.
you just said you don't want to see him.
Look, if somebody ran in here right now, Fox Studios, pat, and then dipped out of here, you know what I don't want them ever to do? Come on Fox Studios lot. Now, there are a lot of other entertainment companies out there, a lot of other lots. You can go everywhere you want. But my product, I will protect
the dude.
It don't matter.
And I get it, but he pushed it, and we're trying to act like
we're trying to say if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt.
Jason, if he were just a fan, if we didn't know what his affiliation was, I might be willing to say, okay, I need to know who this guy is.
Right.
He's a part owner of the Golden State Warriors.
Takes it to
He's
another
sat
level.
in that seat before.
Well vetted.
He knows what the rules are. He knows what the rules of engagement are. He knows what this business is about. He doesn't get a pass. He doesn't get leeway. He should know better coming in.
You're hearing from me giving him a pass.
I am hearing the benefit of the doubt. I'm hearing I need
Get
to
to
know
know.
more.
Everybody the benefit of the doubt.
I don't need to know
I
more.
give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Again,
but that's you. But what
I do as well. I'm with Whitlock on
But what I'm
benefit of doubt.
telling you, as playing in the NBA, the players don't get the benefit of the doubt when we get fined and stuff happen with us. We
Again,
never get the benefit
They're
of the
gonna
doubt.
find this man.
I'm not saying that Whitlock,
They're going to find
but
him.
what I'm saying is, let's not. We don't even know the man and all this. No, that don't matter because when we get punished, they don't know us. They don't know Kendrick Perkins
going
as
to
a
get
person.
punished.
Understood.
Understood, but
Jason,
he should.
you're saying what's the level of punishment? I need
I've
to
already
know
said,
more.
I just said,
right?
my level.
You laid it
No.
down.
Yeah, you laid it
So
out.
why do you need to know more? What is going to change?
Because to me, I think what we're dealing with right now is internet justice, and it's a problem. I think LeBron's little pandering statement, the NBA was going to handle this. LeBron James coming out and saying the damn thing ain't going to do anything but, to me, turn this into a PR thing rather than what's right and just.
No, I disagree. I love what LeBron doing because and then more superstars should speak up when need be. He didn't have to say this, but Bron speaks up when he needs to speak up, and I do applaud him for this.
I don't think this increases justice, though, in terms of outside people agitating. The NBA is going to put this man in his place.
It don't increase justice if it's coming from a guy named Kendrick Perkins, but if it's coming from an icon in LeBron James, it makes a statement.
And so,
because you got to understand, he do have 2 sons, and one of them will be in the league in the future in the next 5
he's
years.
concerned about him getting pushed.
I mean, he just concerned about,
Getting pushed.
the right
Why
thing.
do you minimize the push?
Right.
Because there's no.
It was the action.
I'm gonna tell you why.
You know what?
Issue.
Kyle Lowry should just go press charges.
You've
You've been pushed
press
at work.
charges.
You've been pushed at work. Go. HR. Anybody? HR.
Marcellus, that ain't me.
I said you've been pushed at work.
No. I'm saying if I were, something real would have to happen to me before I'm going to the authorities.
It's not about that. The authorities would come to you and say, Whitlock,
Nah.
if you were pushed at work or let alone let you be the one pushing. Trust me, they're coming
trust
to
me,
you.
I'm not as dumb as this guy.
So look, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but now we're out with your benefits. Guess what? Courtside, peace. Me, arena, peace. But you, I like your plan as a middle
and I'm just going to tell you why. Because, again, y'all want to set the standard. Oh, my God, he was pushed.
Oh, man.
Why you doing that?
Don't do that, man.
He was pushed. And I just want you to think, and this is how I always think. I apologize. I think as a black man, and I've seen athletes on tape doing some things that like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, banned forever. Kareem Hunt, dusted.
Right.
Tyreek Hill, dusted.
Right.
Oh, Charles Barkley, you spit on somebody, dusted.
Right.
No, I'm not with that.
I hear you, but none of those were banned for life. Let's just get it straight. None of those guys.
No, I know.
But they had punishments.
Right. And this guy's going to get
punishment.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
The NFL investigates
Okay,
forever.
so
You saying Ray Rice is
Jason,
Kareem Hunt.
What is sweat? Like,
What-
what is?
yeah, I guess
what
we're
is?
a little
No,
bit
what is
because
deliberate?
again,
They ain't playing another game.
we're
What's
right here today, and everybody's acting like we got to know what to do today, and we got to have it swept, and blah blah blah. And I'm
Damn,
man,
Jimmy,
so-
why you say
if
that?
this happens in 2 weeks, I could care less.
So if the owner
me?
if the owner come out with a statement, then and he apologized,
And he should be allowed to do that.
But I'm saying
Yes.
if he come out and then all of a sudden we get to know the real him, then all of a sudden it's okay.
They always humanize.
Like, come on, man. Like
They always
What-
humanize the privilege.
What
It's
part
not
of
they get in
me
trouble.
has said
disrespect is
What-
I've been there.
disrespect.
What part of me
I'm guilty.
And Kendrick, I'm just going to we have to learn to control our emotions and who we allow to disrespect us. Honest to goodness. Because if it's just them, if you're just a puppet for them, for people that don't like you, they're going to control you and you're going to be responding to their disrespect constantly. It's going to take a little bit more than a push for me to feel disrespected. That dude exposed himself as an idiot, and Kyrie Irving stepped out of the way and said, yep, keep the spotlight on the idiot.
Kyle Lowry, yeah.
Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
I'm not even involved in this. That's the idiot. The guy played it brilliantly. All I'm saying is, all we know right now is the guy's an idiot last night. Let's don't act like we know anything about his character, or who he is, or who he might be moving forward. Because I've seen too many athletes, I've seen myself make too many mistakes. Permanent bans and
Hey, in New
all that-
England, the fan threw the beer at the player. Guess what? Out of Foxborough for life.
Right.
I'm not thinking twice about it from any perspective. I think, especially, and that's a fan sitting there.
A matter of
drunk.
fact, the Boogie Cousins situation with the Celtics, the fan called him the N-word, banned for life.
I'm not a ban for life guy, man.
Okay,
And so
in
my standard
privilege-
doesn't change.
In luxury,
My
in
standard
privilege?
doesn't change. It's not flexible like that.
You the turn of the cheek type guy.
No. I'm the people evolve type guy. Because I've seen people evolve. I've seen myself.
I agree.
I've seen
I
my
agree
family
with that.
members.
I'm cool with
I done
that.
told you. I done seen
You can evolve outside of Oracle. I mean, don't give me this. This is a privilege.
No,
Yes.
This is a
Yes,
benefit.
and it's
You
not
don't
a
get it.
necessity.
Yes,
he doesn't
it's not.
have to go to basketball
No,
games.
no.
He doesn't have to watch NBA.
Stay on your G5, bro.
I'm gonna just say, here's when you do this, when you get into this ban for life, blah blah blah, you're setting a precedent with others and fans and how they view.
Did this
the
update
season.
hit you?
No.
What you got?
I mean, I don't
you
know
got?
if I
Let
should
me-
breaking news.
let
This
me
might be my
break-
last
let
day
me-
here working. NBA bans Warriors part owner who pushed Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, we already did that earlier.
But
Marcel.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that
making
was-
sure that is that deep ban? Is it
No,
our
no,
ban?
That's
or-
what we read the statement. That's what they're
that's
talking
just so
about.
you can't go no more games.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
That's
ban
the same thing.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Whitlock and Wiley, Rick Bucher, and Jim Jackson are back. Let's return to the NBA Finals. Let's take a moment to congratulate the Toronto Raptors. They were spectacular last night. In Game 3 of the NBA Finals, 7 Raptors fired at least one shot. All 7 Toronto players sank at least half of their shots. Kyle Lowry and Danny Green were the Splash Brothers. They combined to nail 11 three-pointers. Kawhi Leonard dropped 30 points. Pascal Siakam and Marc Gasol scored 18 and 17 respectively. The Raptors beat the Warriors 123-109 and took a 2-1 series lead in the series.
You know, we just went out there and did our job, and, you know, I think we held them under 40% shooting. You know, we played well. We finished the game, and we found a way to win a basketball game.
I give our guys a lot of credit. I thought we answered a lot of runs, right? Down to 7 a bunch and came back and scored a bucket or hit a 3 or whatever. We each time they chipped, we kind of answered back, and that's kind of what you got to do if you're going to keep your lead.
And I'm just happy we were able to get a Game 3 win, another step closer to our goal.
The Raptors were amazing. Let's give them their flowers while they're alive. Let's do it now before the Warriors kill them over the next 3 games. I agree with Draymond Green. This series is over in 6.
Everybody want to see us lose, so I'm sure people are happy they're hurt. We just got to continue to battle and win the next game, go back to Toronto, win Game 5, come back to Oracle, win Game 6, and then celebrate. Fun times ahead.
All right, let me be totally honest. Last night, I was more impressed by Steph Curry than the Raptors. Toronto took advantage of Golden State's no Klay Thompson, lackadaisical defense. Lowry and Green buried wide open shots. Steph Curry, on the other hand, played the most impressive playoff game of his career, with Thompson and Kevin Durant and Kevon Looney sidelined with injuries and Draymond and Boogie Cousins hampered by indifference and rust. Steph took on the Raptors all by himself. He looked like Jon Snow battling the dead. Steph finished with 47 points. It was a heroic performance undermined by a lack of support. Well, support is on the way. According to our own Chris Haynes, Thompson will be back for Game 4, and the Warriors are hopeful Durant will play too. To me, it's starting to feel like Durant won't play until Game 5. It's starting to feel like the NBA would prefer a 7-game series with Durant returning with Golden State in a 3-1 hole. That's a storyline that will draw television ratings and boost the legend of Kevin Durant. Nothing changed last night. If Durant plays in this series, the Warriors win the championship. Let me remove the qualifier. Nothing changed last night. The Warriors are going to win the title. All right, Marcellus, start with you. More impressed with Steph Curry or more impressed with the Toronto Raptors last night?
Toronto Raptors, let me be clear about that. Steph was amazing, but as you just said, nothing changed last night. His legacy, nothing changed last night. Amazing performance. I still think
And they
Steph
won.
is the same. Rick told us 2 things that we should have took heed to. One, he said, Steph, if he goes out there and plays that style, he's going to ball out, and they're going to lose. And 2, Oracle ain't the same. In Toronto, you can see him growing that confidence. So for me, it's the Raptors, a team since the new playoff format that the first time in NBA history in the finals goes out there and shoots 50% from the field, all of their players, first time ever. They went and shot 50, 40, 90. This team did this, not Steph Curry, the team. So because of the multitude of players that showed up, I have to go with the team win and the Raptors.
I'm 100% with you. I was more impressed by Steph than I was by the Raptors. It
Thank
wasn't
you.
what I would call a convincing win. In
Thank
fact,
you.
the entire time I'm thinking, you guys are leaving the door open. Something crazy could happen. What are you doing?
14 points? Oh, I'm sorry. 14 points is not convincing enough?
They could have pushed
Vegas
it.
thinks so.
They could have pushed it to 23, 24, 25 and made it a foregone conclusion.
Right.
They kept things interesting for a lot longer than I expected them to do that. But they ultimately got it done with role players. Marc Gasol won the battle with DeMarcus Cousins in a big way. Fred VanVleet was far more impactful than Quinn Cook. When I look at the stars basically canceling each other out. And by the way, all the stars are hurt too. Steph Curry included, if we're going to count the finger. Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, go down the line. This is going to be a series decided by the role players. And if I size up who has the better role players at this stage, I've got to go with the Toronto Raptors.
Yes. I'm going to go somewhere different. I wasn't impressed either side, because I expected. You expect that when Golden State is down, Toronto got to come in here and win the game. You know that's going to happen. You know that Steph, without the rest of his guys, he's going to put up 40-plus points. Right. You know that's going to happen.
I was the only one that said that yesterday, but go ahead.
Ooh. What? 2-2. Wait, man. 2-2. Can I finish my statement? Okay. You know, this is my statement right now. Okay. But that's my mindset, because I knew going into the game these things were going to happen. Golden State didn't stand a chance last night without Klay. Offensively, they struggled, but more importantly, not having Klay on the defensive end. How many layups did Toronto get?
Can we mention somebody else on that? Can we mention somebody else?
What's that? On
Kevon.
Oh, Kevon Looney too. Rim
Huge
protection.
absence. Nobody's talking about that.
But Kevon is really good too in guarding the pick and roll at times, because he can use his length. So again, I knew Steph was going to go for his, but I think Steph also figured out, too, how hard it is to carry a team and actually – see, the question is, were those empty 47 points? Because did they really impact the game? It was some times where you had the chance to make some runs, okay? But
But y'all stop.
well, stop with what?
This man scored 47 and it didn't impact the game.
No, I said impact the game in regards to having that real opportunity to win it.
Jimmy, the 8th most in the finals game ever.
Yeah.
That didn't have impact.
On
And
what
then you
win?
said
On the win.
How close did they get, though?
Oh,
it was 10.
Were
it was
they-
10
Yeah,
minutes.
because Draymond and Boogie didn't show up.
Good point.
Let me move.
There
Let
it
me
is.
move. Let me
It's
move.
still 47
Hold on,
points.
it's
Let
still
me-
hold on,
Let me
wait, time out.
47.
We gotta move. We gotta move.
I
Steve
know we
Kerr
gotta
just
move.
announced.
Okay.
Steve Kerr just announced KD will not be playing in Game 4. Does that change your opinion at all about Klay should play? KD will not play in Game 4. Does that change your opinion about how this series is going to unfold?
Yes, because coming into this game, I think out of 39 game threes, the team that won Game 3 won 30. I think 31 out of 39 won the championship. Okay,
It's
And
82%.
You see what I'm saying? Coming into this,
82%.
now again, it changes a little bit of the narrative if you got a healthy squad if you're Golden State. But if KD doesn't play, depending on how healthy Klay is, because Klay has to be healthy. He can't be limping around now. He can spread the court, he can shoot it, but defensively, I think it's very important. It does change the dynamic, even though they're at home, but I still give a slight edge if Klay can come back and play to Golden State.
It doesn't change what they were defensively.
That's the
which
problem.
was
Well,
horrible.
it
You're
was-
still
it was
going to have
bad.
to play DeMarcus Cousins, Jordan Bell, and Andrew Bogut. And their ability to stop things, particularly if Marc Gasol continues to be aggressive, they don't have rim protection that can stop the pick and roll and get back and defend. Kevon Looney was much more important to that. And Klay is going, let's face it, we're talking about a strained hamstring and we're talking about a week later. If you're telling me that he's going to be able to defend Kawhi or stay in
Siakam.
front of anybody, I mean, Siakam, forget about it.
Yeah.
To be able to stay in front of them with a tweaked hamstring, yes, I believe as a catch and shoot guy, he can still be dangerous. He can still make you come out and close out. But defensively stay in front of a guy, I don't see how that happens, and that was their biggest issue. 123
and the
points.
turnovers, too. I mean, one thing Golden State has done in the past, too, is got loose with the ball. And what Toronto wants to do is capitalize over that. If you give me a live ball turnover, now I'm able to get back. I'm in front of the defense if I'm Toronto. And I thought at the beginning of the game, Toronto did an excellent job of being active.
Yeah.
Draymond had some bad turnovers early on. Even later in the game when they were making their runs, trying to get the lobs inside.
Yes.
They weren't there.
But their back cuts and their lobs were not there. And as much as everybody talks about their three-point shooting, when they don't have those easy finishes at the bucket, they are not the same team. And you're not, even Klay coming back, I don't see him busting it back door and finishing at the rim.
KD coming back, just for some reference. KD had the calf strain last year, missed 3 games, came back, had 40 points. Okay. KD has not played since May 8th. You now insert him into a Game 5, Game 6, maybe even Game 7. One that shows the severity of this injury. This is not the same injury. Oh, but you're not missing 3 games. You're missing a month plus. What's going to come back in terms of what version of KD? The jersey's going to be on the court, but what player underneath? Same when you're talking about Klay Thompson. A hamstring, that severity in terms of how it impacts you mentally, how you're always in your own head, you created another opponent of thought.
So you like Toronto more?
Even more. They're forcing me to go that way.
I think you're all wrong. If Kevin Durant puts on a jersey in this series,
I'm still with Golden
State wins this series.
With healthy.
If he comes back for Game 5, they win this series.
Even if they're down 3-1.
Absolutely. And I really believe
with 2 games
3 in a row.
I'd like this Golden State team, man. I just think that, again, if their best players are playing, and I understand the role player part of it, but those 3 on the court together, you can't stop that. Now, again, they are going to have to address how they play defensively. I mean, that's very important. But I came into this series saying this before. Their best 3 players are the 3 best players out there, okay? Their best. Well, let me take that back. Let me take that back.
Okay, I love you.
I said that Kawhi and Durant will cancel each other out.
Okay, so after that.
But after that,
yeah, the next 3.
2, 3, 4 go towards
Jimmy, I love you.
Golden
Don't be
State.
so stubborn, man. I know you
I
came
ain't
into
stubborn,
this
bro.
series saying one thing.
Evidence.
Coming up.
I said if they're healthy.
Jim Jackson is back. We're joined now by former Pro Bowl linebacker DeQuell Jackson. Let's move to Le'Veon Bell, who showed up to the Jets camp this week a little lighter than usual. According to police in Florida, Bell was allegedly robbed a couple of weeks ago by two girlfriends, with the running back accused of stealing more than $500,000 worth of jewelry, including a Black Panther pendant encrusted in black and white diamonds. The question here is, who looks worse, the girlfriends or Le'Veon Bell? I'm gonna throw this grenade in your lap.
No, you are. Hey, we're gonna catch you with this ring. Baby. Right. Been there, baby.
The disclaimer earlier.
Okay, all right. I don't want to take the ring off, but I'm gonna take y'all back to before the ring. Okay. These girlfriends look a mess. First of all, Le'Veon, you on that Lou Williams plan? What you mean, girlfriends to the police report? I ain't never putting that on the police report, especially after you robbed me, but live your life. How ignorant and irresponsible are these women? One, you stealing stuff that, what you gonna do with the Black Panther charm? Where you going with this? You can't spend it, you can't liquidate it, you can't sell it. You stole from Le'Veon Bell. Let me tell you what's going on out there. I'm gonna hip everybody to some rackets that's going on, big time in Vegas. If the girls were thinking, they would have did something like, I don't know, I've heard this happen. Go to Vegas, married guy. Oh, he got stuff to lose. Let's go to the room.
That's right.
Let's go to the balcony.
Yup.
Lock. You want to say something? No. You want to report this? No.
Exactly.
Now the girlfriends look good.
Exactly.
But to rob Le'Veon Bell, where you going with what you got?
I understand.
They look worse.
That's a good one, too, because a lot of girls do that.
Oh, I know.
Like, you want to complain, you don't want to pay me. What if your wife find out? So you can't press
it's
charges.
real in them streets.
Okay, but in this right here, the setup game.
Right.
Listen, when I go to a hotel, bro, I don't leave nothing out.
Nothing.
Even if it's at my house and I got people in my house, I put stuff up.
Where you put it?
Look, I put it, I ain't telling you, I can't tell you.
Oh, I'm about to say, okay. The ring is telling. I'm gonna go one more pre-ring. Be careful of the safe. They have memorized the beeps.
You got the electronic.
I don't even know what that's about.
They memorized the beep. So, 2, 3, 4,
that's
7.
right. Yeah, no, I got the
baby,
click.
I'm in the other room.
I still got the click, baby.
See,
I still got the dial.
Hey, I'm helping Le'Veon down for next time.
There's a lot of telling on this.
There's a lot of telling. Hey, listen, I ain't married.
I'm married. I'm out.
Before that, but my level of trust for people, especially people I may know or may not, I'm always thinking about something.
Yeah.
I'm hiding stuff. Sometimes I hide some stuff, I don't even know where it's at.
Yeah.
Just because I'm paranoid about something coming up missing.
Right,
So,
like who are you inviting in your house? Like,
Well,
where's your
that's-
safe?
yeah.
Like, you just have all this money and jewelry exposed.
was it
in
just
your
laying
closet?
out too?
Come on, man. You ever heard of opportunity crimes? Crimes of opportunity. That's just what this is. You have it laying out. Some people are going to second guess.
it
I
sounds
may
like-
take it.
Who looks worse, Le'Veon or the
I
girlfriend?
think the girls do. The girls do. I mean, come on. What are you going to do with a Black Panther pendant? What are you going to do? You going to wear it to the club? You going to pawn it? What are you going to do for it?
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
Girls look.
Here's the thing, though. I give Le'Veon the benefit of the doubt in this respect. If he goes on a police report and says girlfriends, that relationship may be deeper than what we're thinking right now. It may be like, you know what? I left it out because I've been knowing them for years.
Right.
And maybe they fell on hard times. Don't you go there.
No.
I know where you're going.
But this is This is why I think Le'Veon looks worse.
Why?
Because why are you foolish enough to think that the relationship is that deep? To me, once you tell these are my girlfriends,
that part.
and they stole from me. Once they stole from you, they're not my girlfriend. They're two people that robbed me.
Yep. Right.
And so I'm not telling anybody. He basically told the police that, I trust him.
I trust him. Yeah.
And these are my girlfriends, and I'm hurt, and I can't believe this, and blah, blah, blah. And they somewhere laughing like, oh, you fell for the okie doke. You thought you had put it down so tough that we were both all into you and blah, blah, blah. And again, this is, Le'Veon, you're a football player. You're not a rapper. You're not Iceberg Slim. You're a football player. And lean into that. When you out here pretending you're a rapper or pretending that, you got people walking a stroll or whatever, when you out here pretending that you that guy, you end up getting clowned.
Yeah.
Know your lane.
But play it through. What are they going to do with this? Like you said, they're somewhere laughing, but you got to come out of somewhere. And where are you going with this? What's the game plan?
I wouldn't I'm sure they got a game plan. Honest to goodness, I'm sure they have a game plan. There'll be somewhere they can get this overseas. If it's worth $500,000, somebody gonna figure out something to do with it.
Listen, one of my boys, I'm not gonna disclose his name, but he got caught up the same way. Okay. But it was different because he knew the girl. They knew his schedule when he was gonna be out of town, and they set him up.
Right.
Okay. So they had some guys come over out of town. Bam. Could this be the same kind of thing? I'm just thinking because it had to be a plan behind this thing.
Well, he said he went to the gym, came back a couple hours later.
But that's what I'm saying. But they knew this.
But this is a one-hitter quitter. Do you understand? You can't rob.
No, you can't keep
those
them.
2 women.
Yeah.
Can't go into the circles anymore and get them. Like the word gets out. The APB is out on you, not only from the police level, but Le'Veon and whoever knew of them. Why would they go one-hitter quitter for that?
Have y'all ever seen? There was a TV show called Rescue Me, and it was about firemen, and it was about, and they had this storyline once about this 50-year-old fireman that this girl tricked into believing that she was in love with him.
Yeah.
Basically took his retirement, everything from him, and then just disappeared. And so,
yeah.
I wish Le'Veon had seen Rescue.
I got one quick one. Here's one more. I told you before the ring. I got one more. Y'all remember in the early 2000s, I felt like everybody was losing their jewelry. Everybody, airports was taking stuff. People in their hotel, I lost my jewelry. This was the racket going on then. High appraisals, 3X, 4X of what you purchased. So you lose $500,000 worth of jewelry. If you have the right insurance within 48 hours, they will send you a check for that appraisal amount, which is sometimes 4 times what you pay for it. Now, I'm just putting this out there. When you say girlfriends,
what you
saying? And they doing a one-off, all I know is I've seen it, not Le'Veon, I've seen it before where somebody was in connection with somebody said, you took this, we getting the check, you disappear, I got this, and then we'll get that. I don't know if this is this, but I'll give you one more for the
saying.
Yeah,
just saying.
I've
heard those stories.
Let y'all know how this goes.
Whitlock and Wiley, Jim Jackson, and Rick Bucher are back as well. Time to get antisocial with our man Darnell. All right, Jim, Darnell, go ahead.
Man.
I like that shirt.
I like that.
Love that shirt.
Goat.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, what's popping, Darnell?
Yeah, we're going to start off with Paul Pierce, who may need to consider changing his nickname from The Truth to The Lie. Yesterday was the 11-year anniversary of his famous wheelchair game in the 2008 NBA Finals. Pierce took a hit, fell to the ground, and stayed down. He appeared injured, was carried off the court, and taken to the locker room in a wheelchair. Well, yesterday before Game 2 of the NBA Finals, Pierce opened up about the incident saying, quote, I have a confession to make. I just had to go to the bathroom. Social media was clowning him for this, and Pierce decided to clap back on Twitter saying, sorry to bust y'all haters' bubble, but the only pooping I did June 5th, 2008 was on the Lakers. Hashtag facts, hashtag haters gonna hate. Are you buying this?
Buying what
Which
part?
part?
Yeah.
He had to use the bathroom. Like, that was the reason he did that.
I was guilty of doing the same thing.
Like that?
In rain games, number 1 for sure. If it's raining out there, you getting a 1 on you. I dispute this, but it's online, and Maurice Jones-Drew said there was a time where, in football, we wear just the pants, the girdle, that's for high school, the cup is for Pop Warner. And he said he saw another yard line between my pants. That's what he said.
You let it go, huh?
I don't believe him because I couldn't see behind me. But all I know is there's been times where I needed to go to the bathroom, but I had to get the quarterback. So I can believe it.
Stop,
Jimmy. Stop.
I don't. Hey, bro, if Paul say some crazy stuff, so if he said this is it, I'm going with my man Paul. I believe it.
Can I just say I appreciate the fact that as former athletes, some of them go on TV and they decide that they have to say crazy things. I feel Paul has fallen into that category. Let me just see what I can say.
Well, let's go there.
The other part is, if I'm having an issue, I'm not having somebody carry me off with my legs spread. Like,
You got no control.
You're just looking for help.
No.
He might have let some wind go.
I'm going to say this. I think Paul Pierce is actually doing a great job.
Yeah, he's
No one has ever mattered on that show the way he has. At least we're talking about it. I think Paul's doing a great job.
Next. All right, man, let's move to the NBA Finals and more controversies from last night's game. A clip went viral last night of Nicole Curran, the wife of the Warriors owner Joe Lacob, leaning over to talk to Jay-Z and Beyonce. The Beehive was bothered by Curran talking to Jay-Z with Beyonce in the middle. And ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reports that Curran has been getting death threats on social media all night long. And this morning, she had to disable her IG account to just make it stop. Curran says all she was doing was asking them what they wanted to drink, and she leaned in because she couldn't hear Jay's order. Guys, what's your takeaway from this?
That social media is just terrible.
Oh, stop.
Man, this woman's in tears getting death threats over social media.
And you talking about a shove shouldn't matter? You think
push.
words should? Look, let me help her out because she's out of this generation. Go into your settings on your IG. All you got to do is go disable comments, and then only comments from people I follow, and then the Beehive can't buzz. It's just that simple. There is a backstory to this. She was just asking Jay-Z and them for drinks, and she couldn't hear, so according to Ramona Shelburne, she just kept going in like, vodka, wheat soda, Tito's. Like she just kept.
Is that all you want?
And Beyonce was like, I can hear him. You should be able to hear him.
Man, what's going on in Oakland right now? We got the push, we got this. Injury. What's going on in Oakland, man? But it just goes back to this when the social media, when it takes over, especially somebody that's so entranced with Beyonce, anything that happens with her, they got to protect her. It's crazy.
Man, look.
It's crazy.
To me, we're getting worked up over this.
Thank you.
Even if I'm in the midst of it,
She's
even
getting
people are
death
killing
threats.
me.
You think, look, as a journalist, I deal with it all the time. But it's not a big deal. But she's not a journalist.
Good point.
Understood.
This is all new. This is all new to her.
Let's be serious. You're giving me a death threat because what? Because Beyonce gave me the stink eye? Because I think really? Like,
well, it's because the Beehive, everyone's PTSD because, they've had some issues in their
The
relationship
language,
before.
I'm sure, is foul directed towards her. And when you're not used to getting it, I get it all the time, so it's nothing to me. To her, this is the first time dealing with that kind of negative energy.
Here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. If you're on social media, you leave yourself open to that.
Bang.
You have the choice.
Right.
You can be on it or you can be off.
Yeah. Boom.
All right, time now for Darnell's question of the day. Darnell, take it away.
All right, guys, so I came across this story on Twitter of a guy who paid to have a lunch with Warren Buffett, and it made me think, if you guys had the option, who would you pay $1,000 to have lunch with?
I thought about this morning. I'd pay $1,000 to have lunch with Roger Goodell. I'd love to talk football with Roger Goodell.
Ooh, right.
I'd pay $1,000.
He'll do it for free if you just get fined. Roger don't care as long as he can find you. Only 1,001 going to dinner with Whitlock. That's a G on it. All that dragonis and them big steaks, we putting a G on it right there. But this guy paid $4.5 million for Warren Buffett. Let's just get that out there. For me, being real, President Obama. Look, just because he went to Columbia, I went to Columbia, never met the man. I'm just getting tired of he's the biggest thing on my campus ever, and I never even got to say hi. So, President Obama.
I just have a problem. I got to pay money to go to lunch.
There's nobody worth it.
The Bay?
You know what? Heath Ledger and Kobe Bryant. I want to be in on that. That's what I want. That would be worth my 1G, because that'd be a story to tell.
Can we go back in time?
That would be a hell of a story.
Darnell, can we go back in time or now?
Do your thing. Go back in time.
Muhammad Ali, baby.
Oh, that's
I'm with you.
We know that's not
okay, current.
But mine was gonna be Obama. Because I want to know. I want to see if I can know the backstories of what really was going on in the White House. All the intrigue, all the kind of conspiracies. I want to know all that kind of stuff.
Look at you.
He ain't giving you that for $1,000.
I don't care, but I can ask.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
Watch the show Scandal, man. That'll feel.
Oh man. I want to hear from him.
He'll bring it all down for you.
Huh?
Who'd you say?
I said Roger Goodell.
Oh, Goodell, that's right.
Yeah. I want
That
to
don't count for real?
Yes.
Really?
That's a bold
Why?
line.
Like, why?
Because I would have some advice for him that I think he needs to hear.
Then he should be paying you a G.
Man,
you $1,000.
We have our custom U.S. soccer jerseys.
Represent,
We're
baby.
ready for the Women's World Cup.
I love it.
Kicks off tomorrow. And then the defending champion USA women play Thailand on Tuesday. Catch it all on Fox, FS1 and FS2. All right, DeQuell Jackson is back, and we're joined now by Brandon Boykin, here making his SFY debut, the former Eagle and Steeler. All right, let's talk some NFL.
Oh, man.
Where the league has raised the issue of expanding this season to 18 games in their latest negotiations on a new collective bargaining agreement. The idea has been debated for years, with the players often objecting over issues of safety. Now, NFL elder statesman Tony Dungy has weighed in as well, saying, quote, "I'm watching the NBA playoffs now, and you see the effects of this long season. Kawhi Leonard limping up and down the floor, Kevin Durant out, Klay Thompson may be out. That's not what people want to see in the playoffs. We get some of the same thing if you add more games. I don't think it'd be good for the players. I don't think it'd be good for the product. All right, Marcellus, you agree with Tony that injuries could hamper the NFL postseason if the league expands?
No, I don't agree with him. It sounded poetic, but basically there's data out there in terms of severity of injuries. Let's talk head injuries, concussions, and knee injuries. A third of them happen in the 4 weeks of training camp and preseason. A third. That means for the rest of the season, those 17 weeks regular season, plus playoffs, Super Bowl, only 2/3. So obviously, a enormity of them happen in that 4-week span. I'm with 18 games. Take 2 preseason games off. Let's just play the games, make more money, and have a better time at it.
Yeah, I'm not. I agree with Tony Dungy. I think the 18 games regular season schedule is going to be a tough sell initially for the players. For one, I don't think the players initially think it's a positive trade-off for their career and making money. But I do think you have to incentivize the players. You have to address the preseason. We all know the preseason is far too long right now, and I think if you can incentivize the players with, okay, let's decrease some of these games, you can start that conversation, and towards the end, you may be able to sell that point to the players of playing 18 regular season games, but I just don't see it happening right now.
I think 16 games is too long. I think this whole thing is a crazy situation. 16 games, we've all played it. That's long. You want to add 2 more to that? You want to add 2 more weeks of injury possibility? You want to add 2 more weeks of grueling on the field? What's the trade-off here? Now we talking about, listen, what's the trade-off? We're going to get a couple of preseason games taken away, maybe add a little bit to the salary cap. That ain't enough. Now, if you want to talk about, okay, let's probably guarantee contracts in some type of way, and let's also give us some guaranteed lifetime health care benefits at the end of our career. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. That's worth the player being able to play 18 games, because when you think about it as a player, when the season is done, you're training in the offseason just to go back to OTAs. You're training OTAs to go to training camp, and then it starts over. It's a whole cycle.
Brandon, I like you. Coming out hot.
I like it.
Boy, you know how to negotiate, because you a damn liar. You talking about 16 games is too long already. What, 18? You know what the trade-off's going to be? Dollar for dollar in terms of value. So a guy who's making $16 million a year just made $18 million in those extra 2 games. Think about it. Would you not go out there and play 2 more real games where, for me, it was more fun, and I felt like I would have less risk for injury. I got hurt most of the time, practice, training camp, or in my mind thinking about the next grueling Oklahoma drill I had to do. Right. In the game situations, I don't even remember having a game injury. Now, the games can give you the wear and tear for the work week, that's taxing, but I think we're exaggerating that for good reason to get something more out of collective bargaining. But the whole injury concern for me, for 2 more real games and no 4 fake games, I'll take it.
Yeah, but who's really benefiting from those 2 extra games? I think the mid-level, high-end guys, the quarterbacks who make $10 million plus. My real question and concern would be, how would the lower-level guys that make less than $1 million be affected by another 2 games, exposing them to head injuries, exposing them to more injuries and what have you? So that would be my major concern.
And that's what happened last time with the CBA. You talk about a guy like Drew Brees that was kind of coordinating the thing. The quarterbacks got all the money in the new CBA. That helped them. What about the lower tier guys? Yeah. You might not even make it to game 18. And let's say your team is 2-9. You know you got no chance of making the playoffs, and you got to play another 6, 7, 8 weeks. That's not fun. So when you talk about the money and incentivizing it with the money, that ain't enough, man. We got to get to the health care. We got to get to the real issues, or this CBA is just going to be just another one.
Great debut, Brandon. All right, before we go, I'd like to share a thought on former USC assistant basketball coach Tony Bland. Yesterday, a federal judge in New York sentenced Bland to 2 years probation in the so-called Adidas college basketball bribery scandal. The feds forced Bland to plead guilty to accepting $4,100 to steer USC athletes toward a sports management agency. You might feel Bland got lucky. 3 other men caught up in this federal publicity stunt, staged to protect the immoral concept of NCAA amateurism, received prison time. But Bland's not lucky. The 38-year-old is a convicted felon looking to restart his career after a 2-year ordeal that started with federal agents arresting him like he was El Chapo's top enforcer and ended with prosecutors reading a victim's letter from USC at his sentencing. That's right, the University of Southern California had the audacity to write a victim's letter at the behest of the government. The real criminals wrote a victim's letter. The architects and overseers of amateurism claim victimhood. USC said Tony Bland damaged the reputation of the school. Really? Some potential engineering students said, I'm not going to SC because Bland got $4,000 he used to finance a bachelor party. USC doesn't understand its student body. But I digress. The point I want to make is about the social justice warriors in professional sports. Where are they? Where are their T-shirts supporting Tony Bland or any of the other men caught up in this bogus case? LeBron's puppet masters at Nike won't let him come near this case. Too much real danger. The Adidas scandal could easily become the Nike scandal. It's much safer to wear equality T-shirts and complain about WNBA players firing coach than utter a word of protest about men going to prison and being designated as felons in protection of amateurism. It's better to eradicate the word owner from the NBA and remain silent when former NBA All-Star Chuck Person is labeled a felon in protection of amateurism. It's smarter to photograph yourself in a Kaepernick jersey than defend men going to prison in protection of amateurism. Better to be accused of cowardice than to risk the consequence of real courage. These guys don't make a move without the direct approval of their corporate handlers. Revolutions that liberate the common man are not sponsored by multi-billion-dollar shoe companies. We criticize Michael Jordan for failing to mimic Muhammad Ali. We should have praised him for being wise enough to realize his corporate puppet strings made that impersonation impossible. More speak for yourself after this. Kendrick Perkins and Rick Bucher are back. Let's return to the NBA Finals. Sponsored by the Capital One Saver Card. What's in your wallet? All right, with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson both out last night, DeMarcus Cousins had an opportunity to step up and not just help the Warriors, but also help his prospects in free agency this summer. But Boogie didn't do himself any favor, shooting just 1 of 7 from the field and looking like a shadow of his former self. How much money, or did Boogie cost himself money last night?
Oh, yeah, he cost himself. It's been a roller coaster ride, and the trajectory is down in terms of the Achilles. You come back from that, not looking your best, laboring, but still playing yourself into shape, playing well at times this year. Then the quad on the same leg. It's just durability issues and concerns. I think it's really going to affect him in terms of pay.
Last night did not cost him anything because there were still questions in terms, one 28-minute game in the finals is an encouraging sign, but there are a multitude of reasons. First of all, he's playing with the Warriors. So are we going to be able to put the talent around him that the Warriors have around Boogie? It was a non-contact injury. People still have questions as far as that. So what I was hearing is, somebody might give him a 1-year deal, and they might even put a healthy number on it, but he wasn't going to get more than that, and it's still going to be a matter of, does he come back? What kind of shape is he in the fall? That's going to be the negotiation.
So he could have never played himself into a great deal.
He was never, it was never like, no matter how he played in this circumstance, was somebody going to say, oh, we're going to give him 5 years and $100 million. That simply was not going to happen.
He lost that last year when he tore his Achilles, I think, in my opinion. The game is changing.
That's what I felt last night.
Yeah, but the game is changing. I'm not even just talking about from last night. I think, the game is going away from guys like Boogie. It's not like Boogie is a Joel Embiid who's a big guy, but Joel Embiid is a mobile, athletic guy. At that, Boogie is not athletic, but he's still better than majority of the starting centers that's out here. I mean, obviously you could put him on a team like the Wizards right now. He'll go over there and turn and make them a better team, in my opinion. He would. He actually would, because he was playing great basketball before he got hurt.
Yeah.
He was putting up
still laboring, though.
Yeah,
it still was.
Yeah, but I mean, coming off, I tore my ACL, but I had a friend of mine who tore his Achilles. He said, and that's 10 times worse.
Oh, yeah, I tore my Achilles. I get it.
Right, so you get it. And then a guy that's weighing 280 pounds, man, it's different.
But Perk, I kind of felt what you said. I felt it last night as a layman. I was like, well, hold on. Even the best case Boogie, I don't know if he fits in at this level of basketball.
And I agree.
And so, I mean, I'm sure you're aware of that. You're a junkie. But for me, the layman, I was like, wow, he doesn't even fit in. I don't know what contending team he could help.
Well,
There's a number of them. He has value, and
Yes.
you would like to have him on your roster. But is he going to be a cornerstone piece?
No.
Is he going to get the kind of money that he was looking at one point when he was in New Orleans prior to the injury?
Right.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen, and it's unfortunate because he was putting up, 20 and 20 and triple doubles, and he was doing his thing, and now it's like, man, it's almost like, we bring him in as a backup center type deal because, truth be told, I mean, Looney actually has been their best big man this year. And, I mean, it's no knock on Cousins on what he's doing, but it's just his health. And, to Boogie, I wish he'll take this advice. Like, I wish I would have took the advice. I would have played 2 more years. But, you got to get more strict on your diet, man. The game is changing. That 275 right now is not cutting, man.
Coming up.
We got to be 250.
Uncle Jimmy's here. Your thoughts on the show so far, Uncle Jimmy?
Just honored for you all to be here with me. Honored for y'all to be here with me.
Really? That's it?
You got a
Let's
big
go and
dummy
get to
of the
this
day?
big dummy of the day.
Oh, wow.
Big dummy of the day go to somebody who just gonna allegedly tell another grown man or tell the world that another grown man boo-booed on himself. You don't know if that man boo-booed on himself or not. That man got kids? How you gonna put that out there like that, man?
Did they put
That's
it out
a
there?
dummy.
I responded to what they said, I thought.
All right. Anyway, here's a highlight from our discussion earlier
Big
about
dummy.
Kyle Lowry. By not taking any action, you really expose what an idiot this guy was. I applaud Kyle Lowry and hope that others would respond the same.
I would give him a minimum of a year suspension. You can watch it in your big flat screen investor owner instead of courtside where your lack of awareness turned to arrogance.
All right, Uncle Jimmy, we had a pretty spirited discussion, all 5 of us, about Kyle Lowry and the Warriors owner. What's your take?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you, Jason Whitlock, and you, Marcellus Wallace, for allowing the lovely Ness Nettie to call this impromptu press conference on my behalf.
Oh, man.
We specifically here at the Capricorn Nation were very disturbed and disordained by the brutality accentuated on our brother Kyle Lowry. This is the type of brutality that I have been kneeling against for the past 3 years.
Oh, my God.
And now,
Goodness.
and only now, it has once again reared its ugly head in the NBA. It is now time for my brothers to join me in taking a knee to stop this systematic suppression of the oppression experienced on the brother Kyle Lowry. I'll now take a couple of questions.
You really think you're going to compare this to police brutality? I had to do this.
Yeah,
in the
you and
already.
Kendrick, man. Damn.
Come on.
He ain't die.
Let me ask you, is this not a case of a privileged owner of power taking advantage of a young inner city youth? Is my Caucasian brother's aggression toward Kyle Lowry not the symptomatical depression that I have faced for the last several years? It is my opinion that my oppression has trickled into the NBA, and this has now become a simple case of the man trying to keep a brother down.
Did you say systematical depression? Is that
Said a suppression of oppression.
Please,
Heard
I'm
it all.
running out of time.
You running out of essence.
Also to brother Kyle Lowry,
Oh, man.
because you may too be you should not speak too loudly of the crimes in which you ingested last night. For you too may be the victim of ostrichization like I too was. Those of you in the media that have ridiculed my brothers for analogizing their polite and professional sports to slavery, now that you see, are we free? Are we free? What we saw last night, did we not witness a lynching on national TV to the likes that we haven't seen since Kunta Kinte refused to be called Toby. This is why we stand here and reject the word owner, because if you look at it, it is a derivative. It is a form of the word of owner and ship. Did we not come here on a ship, my brothers? Think! This is all I'm trying to say to you. Look here, man. This is how R. Kelly told y'all in the video. Think! That's all you got to do, man. Look here, y'all laughing at me.
You're just doing this to get in the limelight.
Man, look, man, this is my career at stake here, man. Is you crazy? Look, man, all my money done ran out. I ain't got but $55 left from an NFL settlement. I ain't on Madden no more. Dr. Dre done took back all his headphones. Now to top it off, now Nessie sitting up tripping about when your ass gonna get a job. And then to top it off more than it, man, I don't know how to hold top people. What the hell they talking about, man?
Saturday Night Live, boy, you are talented.
Man,
we are way.
Hell, man, they trying to keep his brother down, man.
Here's my approval rating for Kyle Lowry. I have him at a 69 role player, high 69 role player, 23 job performance, 8 all-time greatest, 20 character, 18 authenticity.
Man, you got good laugh recovery, man. What I write? 73 All-Star. He good, man. I respect him. Man, how many characters you got in you, bro? This is amazing.
I don't know how to hog tie people.